Okay, I'm going to go over quickly how the view modes can change now. For a while we've only had just the 3D, and if you went into perspective it kind of didn't work. First off, I'm going to show you that the simple true zoom has been enabled. Just using the plus and minus key on your number pad will allow this. And you will also notice up here the zoom is represented and can also be set small increments if you just want to tap them out. Now, to get into an orthographic or parallel type view, select your current camera, go to the camera edit, and simply change the mode. Now, this is a parallel view of a non-standard view angle, so you can see the pattern look kind of fun and interesting. And have some uses for that later, but for now, let's put it into a standard view. So let's just select our mesh again, push F9, and you can pop in and out of, again, you've got to go back to the camera, you can pop in and out of orthographic if you want, but you notice the zoom levels for the camera change because orthographic doesn't really take in camera position to account so much. You actually do want to zoom in to see things larger. A true default zoom in this mode, 1 nuclear fusion unit equals 1 pixel, and that can be kind of annoying. I did a fair amount of coding to get our standard manipulator working as it should, but one of the ways you can tell you're in orthographic or parallel, you'll notice that this x-axis in this case is staying centered on the sphere. If this was a standard parallel view, you would find that the parallax error would actually cause that to drift from center as it moved. What this is really going to allow us to do is place entities with precision, because what you see here is perfectly aligned going through all depths, in this case the x-axis. Now we could use a different projection or whatever, so I'm just going to select the cone here. And you'll notice that even in this mode the ray picking is working. In fact, it seems to work a little faster. So we're in the F9 view. If you hold down shift, you can flip to the other side, or just F9. F10 is front and back. So here we have the front. We're looking into minus Z axis. Shift, we're looking into plus Z axis. F11 is from the top, or from the bottom. Something you're going to note here, sometimes you need to move the camera a little bit to be able to see the objects, and that'll only work because only happens because the auto distancing happens when you change camera modes. It tries to center on things. But the other thing you're going to notice sometimes in the overhead projection, for some reason, I'm not sure if you saw that, but when we're in this mode, it moves around a little bit. From underneath it works just fine, but for some reason, when we're in the overhead, the whole view shifts down a little bit. Sometimes you have to come in and out of it a few times for the hot zones on control, on the gizmo's controls to actually line up. You can still select meshes, but I don't know if you saw that. If you can see through the mesh, you might still be able to select it. If you're not sure, try and select the visual part of the mesh. Now, you don't want to move your camera forward and back to change the scale of the view. You want to actually use the plus or minus key, or go directly up here and maybe set the zoom to somewhat directly. You can also hold down Control plus Shift. Use your middle mouse key to drag things around. You should probably let go of the keys before you let go of the mouse button, or you might start an accidental rotation that you didn't want. Again, camera height seems to affect this a little bit. And depending on that camera, when you pop back into perspective, things might be a little out of whack. So sometimes you want to check your camera's actual position on an axis. Or use more than one camera. By all means, create another camera and call it orthographic and position that as you would, and just pop back and forth between the two cameras. That's pretty easy to do as well. Just make a camera. And you have a new camera, you can go in there and make it orthographic. Come back to this camera. It's the default camera. You have this camera. You can set main camera's perspective. The only thing you have to watch though, I coded it to change the scalings based on whether it's in or out of orthographic, so that'll maybe change a little bit down the road and have some defaults per camera in here. But anyhow, being done, it's fairly easy. One of the other things I'll take a quick minute to show is if you have, there we go. So in perspective with this one, you can make grids very quickly. If I make a grid, you're going to have a new mesh full of surfaces that are equivalent to the grid lines. Go in and do a rotation. In this case, a Z-axis rotation is going to help us out. And what that would do is it gives you another grain of home green type thing. Anyhow, I'm going to have to work a little bit on popping in there when you have dual cameras. Obviously the bug I just hit there. But really, most of the time you're just going to be working with one camera, and it's not too hard to keep straight. Anyhow, enjoy, and thanks for watching.